Hello friends, welcome to my first video on Excel basics. I am Professor Avesh and I am here today with you guys to take you through the basics of Excel. Now, when you talk about Excel, Excel is a tool or a spreadsheet software that has been used for a very long time, ever since its launch. And in this video, I'm going to take you through the basics of certain points in Excel that have to be understood before you move to the advanced level. Now, if you look at the interface of Excel, Excel comes with its typical green color that it has been using, and the bar that it uses on top has got a greenish shade to it, just like you've got blue for Word and red for PowerPoint. Now, jumping to the basics very quickly, taking you through the basics in this video. Excel is a spreadsheet software that has been divided into its various menus have now been converted to a ribbon. So if you look at the ribbon starts from the file menu and ends at the power pivot menu. Right from point here to this particular point, you have the entire ribbon. Excel has been divided into various tabs: the home tab, the insert tab, the page layout, so on and so forth. In this series of videos, I'm going to be taking you through the various commands that we will be using. Now, without wasting any further time, let's move into the basics of Excel. So, when you look at Excel, its spreadsheet is divided into columns and rows. That is the basic fundamental building block of an Excel program. Excel has its files named as .xls for pre-2007 versions and .xlsx for post-2007 versions. Now, each file is also known as a workbook. That's why you can see the practice workbook. I will be giving you the link for this workbook. You can download it and follow along with me in this video. Now, each workbook has got worksheets, and the name of the worksheet is concept. Similarly, you can add multiple worksheets to this particular workbook and increase the size of the workbook. Now, what you see with numbers are all rows in this particular worksheet, and whatever you see with alphabets are all columns in this particular worksheet. What is in red is a row, and what's in yellow is a column. Similarly, what do you see in green? This is an intersection of a row and a column, and it is called as a cell. The cell is the basic building block of any Excel spreadsheet, and this holds your content. The next concept is understanding what is the range of cells. Now, a single cell is also called as a range. Number of cells in the same column, just as what you see in this selection, is also called as a range. Number of cells in a same row, what you see in red, is also called as a range. And cells that are selected with multiple columns and multiple rows is also called as a range of cells. Now, understanding the concept of range is important because you may need to work with range of cells in the upcoming exercises as well. The next important concept, basic concept that needs to be understood, is name box. Now, Excel's cells or the spreadsheet cells can be referred to as a name, and all these cells have a cell address. So how do you know which cell you are currently in? You have a name box which is listed here, and this name box is very useful whenever you have to create named ranges, or if you have to jump to a particular cell, which I will be explaining to you in the future videos. You will need to use this name box and access any particular cell address that you want to. So the first cell is A1 because it falls in column A and row 1. And you will notice that the name has changed, or the cell address has changed, the moment I moved it from this particular cell, that was D4, to A1. If I need to access any particular cell, say if I want to, for example, I want to access the intersection of column G and row 5, that is G5, I need to type into the name box G5 and press enter. Now the moment I do that, my cursor or the selection will move to cell G5. So always remember, in Excel, the column name is put in first, followed by the row number, and that is how you access any particular cell address. The second concept is the formula bar. The formula bar is this particular area that you see, which is called as the formula bar. Now it is called as the formula bar because whatever you type here or whatever you type in a particular cell will show up in the formula bar, or vice versa. Let me give you an example. Supposing I type a number 100 in this. The moment I start typing, you will see that the formula bar is picking up that particular text or that number. If I want to keep that text or that particular number in that cell, I can press the enter key, or else I can press escape to not enter that particular details in that cell. Let me try and press enter and see what happens. So I have got my data entered into this particular cell G5. The formula bar is going to be very useful when we are building formulas, and we'll be doing a little bit more detail of that in the upcoming videos. Now the next concept is to understand what kind of data can be held in any cell of the spreadsheet. So data that can be there, or the kind of data that goes into a particular cell, or the contents of a cell, can either be text, which is just writing the name over here, or any other text with formatting attributes. If you notice, I have just written the word or the word name here. Similarly, I have written name, but I have given it some formatting. And to understand what formatting basically is, you will notice in the font command group of the home tab, I can see that bold, italic and underline are the three formatting attributes that have been assigned to this particular text. Similarly, cells can also hold numbers, which is a plain number, which is 100. You can also have formulas. For example, I have written the formula is equal to 100 plus 100 in this particular cell, which has got 200. Now, till I do not select the cell, I will not be able to see what formula it holds. So let me select the cell and show you in the formula bar, there is a formula that is there within this particular cell. There is another very important and very useful cell content that can be held in the cell, which is called as functions. Now functions are nothing but predefined formulas which will be useful as and when we move into the next videos. So I have put a function here followed by some arguments which are used to take a total of two numbers, 150 and 150 again. So I have the formula that is put up here for both these cells. Moving ahead, we will try and understand how to work with rows and columns and modify the rows and columns. When you talk about rows and columns, you need to understand that rows have heights. So you see the distance between this line and the line below it, or these two lines, that is called as the height of a row. Similarly, the line which separates column B and column C is called as the width of a particular column. And these can be adjusted by placing the cursor at the bottom of the current row that you want to increase the height by, or on the right edge of the column that you want to increase the width by. So let me demonstrate this to you. I can click using the left click and drag it to the right to increase the width. Similarly, if I want to increase the height of the row, I can click the bottom edge of that particular row and drag it down. So this is how you can increase and decrease the row height and the column width. You can also use the Autofit option to fit your particular column or row, the height or the width, according to the contents of your cells. Say for example, if this particular column D was at this width, had this width. Now you will notice that this particular content, insertion and deletion of cell contents and modifying rows and columns, is not entirely fitting into the column D. I can auto fit this column D by left clicking the right corner of the particular column. So when I double click it, it auto fits it to the current cell contents width. Similarly, I can auto fit my row height as well by double clicking it at the bottom edge. So that is about modifying rows and columns. You can even insert a row and column by using or right clicking the current row or right clicking the current column that you want to do. But remember, whenever you insert a column, the column will be inserted before the current column and above the current row. So if I insert it, it will be inserted before row number 18. Similarly, if I insert a column here, it will be inserted before column D. So these are the basics of working with rows and columns. This same feat can be also achieved by using the format option or the format command under the home tab, under the cells command group, and using the format command options. So I have the row height, auto fit row height, column width, auto fit column width. Similarly, I can also insert sheet rows and insert sheet columns using these two options. Now, how do you delete cells and how do you delete the contents of a cell? So these are two different concepts. Let us say I have 150 in this cell and I have 250 in this particular cell. There are two ways of deleting the content within a cell. One is by selecting the cell, the current cell that you want to delete the content from, and pressing the delete key. So when I press the delete key, the cell contents will be cleared. As you just saw, I deleted the contents in cell E14, which had 150 in that particular cell. Now there's a difference between deleting the contents of a cell and deleting the cell in total. So let me put cells E14 with value 150, E15 250, and E16 with a value of 350. Now the difference between deleting contents of a cell and deleting a cell completely is when you delete the contents of a cell, there is no change in the cell position. But when you delete the cell itself, the cells will either shift on top or they will shift to the left depending on what option you select when you're deleting the cells. Now how do you delete a particular cell? So let me demonstrate that to you. Supposing I want to delete the cell E15. Now I select the cell E15 and under the home tab I have the cells dialog box wherein I drop down the delete cells command and click delete cells. So once I click delete cells, I have a dialog box that pops up which says, do you want to shift the cells to the left or do you want to shift the cells up? I will select the cells, shift cells up and click OK. Select the option shift cells up and click OK. Once I click OK, you will notice that the cell E15 has been deleted with all its contents and E16 has taken the position of E15. So you will notice that there is a shift in the position, the relative position of the particular cell. That is the major difference between clearing the contents of a cell and deleting a particular cell. Now very quickly let me show you how to cut, copy and paste data or contents from one cell to another or range of cells to another range of cells. For example, if I wish to copy the contents from cell E15 to cell D15, that is from this cell into this cell. How do I do it? I select the cell that I want to copy the data from and use the copy command which is given in the clipboard command group, or else the shortcut which I will be sharing with you in the next few videos. I will take you through an entire shortcut list or an entire list of shortcuts for various commands in Excel. I'll have a separate video for that. For now, let me just take you through it, and you press Ctrl C or click the copy command. Now you will notice that whenever I hover onto a command in any of these ribbon tabs, you will notice that there is a pop-up that comes up along with it, and in the bracket there is a combination of keys that are given. So you can use those combination of keys for any particular command like cut and copy. So you can copy this particular cell contents. When you click copy, you will notice that there is a moving border for that particular cell that gives you an idea that this is ready to copy. And wherever you want to paste it, you can select that particular cell and click the paste option or the paste command, which is Ctrl V. So I click paste, and this is how I can copy and paste. Similarly, if I wish to cut the contents from a particular cell, say I want to cut the contents of cell E13 and I want to paste it in D13 or E14 into D14. So I click E14 and I can cut the contents, which is also equivalent to moving the contents. I cut it. When I cut it, I have the same moving border around that particular cell, and I select the cell where I want to paste it and click the paste command. It is as simple as that. So I have moved contents from E14 to D14, and I have copied contents from E15 to D15. This is how I can cut, copy and paste. Now the last concept in this particular video is the paste special. Now how do you use paste special and what are the uses of paste special? I will do a complete in-depth video for it, but one very important use of paste special is whenever you want to convert a particular formula into text, you can use the paste special option. Say for example, I have a formula in this particular cell which is I15. Now the moment I select this, I can convert this particular formula, and this is used when you don't want the end user or the person you are sharing the file with to notice or make out what formulas you have used. After computing all the values, you can convert these formulas into values. So you will be able to see only 200 even when you click it, and you will not be able to see the formula. So let me show you and demonstrate how to do that. You can copy the contents of the cell. When you copy the contents, the same way I have used the Ctrl C shortcut, and I am trying to paste it in this particular cell. Now notice if I do a Ctrl V, a normal Ctrl V, you will notice that I can see this particular formula. But in just the cell below it, I am going to convert this value, or I'm going to convert this formula into a value in this particular cell. Now the shortcut to do that is Alt Ctrl V. The moment I press Alt Ctrl V, there is a paste special dialog box that opens up. Now by default, it will copy all, which includes all the formulas, values, formats, comments, validation. We are not going to get into the details of it. I will just show you how to convert it to values. So for any other dialog boxes throughout any Microsoft product or any other products, remember, whenever you see any particular letter underlined, you will be able to use that particular option when you click or when you select that key on the keyboard, or when you type that key on the keyboard. Now for example, I want to convert it to values. The moment I press V, the values option within paste special will be selected. Once I do that, I just need to press or select the OK button, and I can click OK to convert this into a value. Now you will notice, even though the cell that I have copied the data from had a formula which is I16, but the cell that I copied the contents into, that is I20, does not have that formula. And that is the use of paste special, a very simple basic use of paste special, that is to convert your formulas into values. That's it for this video. Hope to see you soon. Thank you guys.